Hi guys, and welcome to this video. There's a lot going on. We are currently in the cycle time frame, and I think it's about a 50-50 chance that we are either having a really nice buying opportunity right now, or we break down and could confirm a bear market for stocks and also for the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin. So there's a lot to look at today, so let's get right into it. First of all, under my last video, there was a really nice comment from UniDevRaven, and he reminded me of the CME gap at 77k, and that was really good because I looked at the chart a few weeks ago but forgot that I had looked at it, and it's really interesting because we have a pattern that happened before that we can look at. So this is the CME futures chart, and it's only open in the weekdays, not on the weekend, so there are sometimes it happens that there are gaps that form. And actually we had a pattern that is really close to the pattern we have right now back in 2020 during the bull run. As you can see, we gapped up, had a topping pattern here with inclining support, broke down, tested the upper side of the gap hold as support. We chopped around a little bit and then went up. So that was here after the COVID crash 2020, and afterwards the last blow off the top or the bull run began, continued, and as you can see here, that's the structure. And if we now go to right now, we actually have a really similar structure. We also have a gap, we have inclining support, we broke down of the support, and right now we just backtested the upper side. We almost closed the gap to the downside and are now bouncing off of it. Here I copied a chart from back in 2020, and the structure looks really similar. The topping here was a bit shorter, but I didn't even have to change the scale. Even the gap in log chart up here has the same size. So it's a possibility for the positive side that we hold this gap, chop around a little bit, and then continue the bull market, which would be a really nice buy opportunity. So that's a factor for the bullish side. Also, if you look on the main chart here, we expected this dump down, we expected a cycle low. Here my little squiggly line was only up until here. So far we fall down more, but it doesn't really matter, it's just to show the structure. So we can delete this now. So here actually we first hit our 3A2, which held a little bit as support and bounced, but now we fall through. And in Fibonacci theory, most of the time if you fall through a level and you fall quite a bit through it, a bit over the half of the next level, even if you bounce back like we did, it's likely if you fail a level that much that you visit the next lower level. That's also what we did here, the 0.5 on 79,000. And so far that's where we bounced and held as support. And also if we zoom back a little bit, this support line here also was backtested really well here and also was support. So that's a good look at the moment. Remember the 80k level, which holds so far. When we go back to the CME chart, here the CME gap is also at 80. So 80 is the support of the Fibonacci retracement and also the gap support that we have. So it's a confluence of these both support zones and could mean that we found our bottom. If you look at the time, I think it's exactly 60 days from here, so it would be a perfect cycle low if we can hold it. But in general, as I said, also we need to see a bit of relief, we need to see strength before we can say for sure what's going on. Because if you bought somewhere here, or you bought here or here, it can always go further down, and we're still in the time frame of the cycle low, so we can still fall deeper. So it's important to still be cautious and see what's going on. Another point that points to the bullish side for just a dip and a good chance to buy is the total crypto market cap. And here I put the Fibonacci retracement in, and we just perfectly hit the first Fibonacci level, 0.382. So far that's a really normal retracement, normal move that is expected after each finish move. So we could actually have found our bottom here. If we see some strength also in the SPY, in the stock market, then this could be the low and we could see some bullish price action. So that's another point that hints towards positive price action and good long opportunities. Last thing I want to show you, sorry, bit messy chart, but how long it took after the halving event from the last cycles to the top. And here we have, so from the second halving event it was 74 weeks until the top. From the third halving event it was 78 weeks to the top, and currently we are quite a bit before that. We are around here, and 74 weeks to the top would still be until September. So if nothing changes, if the time frames are similar or basically the same, then we would still have some more months to go. Also here I overlaid the last two bull markets tops from here, and you can see it's quite similar, and they both went a little bit further, a little bit higher. So that's the bullish side, that's the arguments to be made that we have some bullish price action. Let's now look at the bearish side and bearish arguments to be made for a possibility that we have the top already in and are moving down from now. So one other way to look at it is not to check from the halving events to the top, but to check how long did it take from the prior all-time high to the top after breakout. So what I looked at is the first weekly close. Let's go to the weekly chart. So the first weekly breakout out of the all-time high, how many weeks did we have to the top? And so here in this bull market it was 36 weeks. In the next one, so in the last bull market, it was 47 weeks, as you can see here. It's quite a bit longer because we had like this move down and sort of range. So 36 was the lower end, 47 the longer end. And right now we barely had a higher weekly close here, but then chopped around and went under. But if we count this as a higher weekly close, just as before, our all-time high right now would be 43 weeks, so it would be well in the range between 36 and 47 in the last bull markets, and would be looking at the breakout, weekly close breakout. It would be a completely normal range and completely normal duration from breakout and weekly close to the all-time high close. If you say, yeah, I don't really see that as a proper breakout and use this one, then the lower end, the 36 weeks, would give us quite a bit of more time, so until July. So maybe, depending on how you look at it, if you count this one or this one, either it would be perfectly fine from the time frame for all-time high, or if you see it like this would be a bullish case, then we still would have a few more months of upside or bull market left. A really interesting thing I also wanted to show you here was some tweets. As I told you in the last videos, we talked about a tweet from Elon Musk, and that he basically called the last all-time high with the 69,000K top. And I put on some tweets of billionaires that tweeted right at the top. As we talked about, Elon Musk so far called the all-time high on January 20th perfectly. So far, just as the last all-time high we had in the last bull market. Donald Trump put out his meme coin 2 days before, on the 18th of January, so also almost at the top, to get some cash out of his fans and rug pull the market basically. And 2 days later, on the 23rd of January, we have CZ, the founder of Binance, who was shilling the market and said, yeah, Bitcoin strategic reserve is pretty much confirmed, and yeah, kind of hype and hopium, and that's especially from billionaires, because they usually don't have your best interest in mind, especially as investors. That's most of the time a counter signal. And yeah, it's interesting to see and interesting to note this and have this in mind for the bearish argument that we could already have our top in perfectly here. Another point we can look at is this range here, which Bitcoin has been in. We definitely broke down here. As I told you, moves usually tend to correct at the 3A2 fib at least. So if we would see some bounce now to the range low, which is also at the moment the 3A2, and then see weakness and break down, then the likelihood of a bear market and the start of a bear market is really low, especially if we fail this daily and weekly cycle low. So if we go back up here, can really break out, chop around, have weakness, then the chances for a start of a bear market are going up quite a lot. So we have to keep that in mind. Another important thing we need to look at for the bearish or the bullish case is the S&P, the normal stock market. Yeah, because it's make or break also right now. We had, I drew here the Fibonacci retracement levels, and we had a gap here, and basically, and also here the support. We backtested all of it, the 786, filled out the gap, and also tested the support line. And now on the last day of the week, Friday, we had a strong bounce up. So that's good to see, first of all. But yeah, it still doesn't mean that we are out of the woods yet. We are not even in the cycle low time frame. So what I had hoped here is that we get a bounce and then maybe go lower down here, but we're already down here before the cycle low. And also, as you can see with the red Fibonacci levels, which I just pulled here, we just on Friday perfectly backtested the 3A2. So that's just a legal correction and would be completely enough to now fail and break down. So depending on Bitcoin's moves and the market moves, which are correlated, if you get some chop around here, go down into the cycle low, maybe even backtest this support as resistance and then have weakness and break down, then the likelihood is that we started a bear market and we have to look at selling long positions and maybe also getting into some short positions. So yeah, it's not good that we came down that much already before the cycle low. We have to have a close look on the SPY and on the market. Also another thing, these red lines are inclining support lines, which are fitting for a blow off top, and we already had 3 legal ones. So here's the first support line, second one, and the third one, and so far we broke down the third one. Here that was the third one, broke down, chopped around here, and yeah, if we also fail the second one, that yeah, doesn't look good for the stock market and crypto, and has a really high likelihood of a bear market then. So yeah, we have to keep a look on the markets next week. I still hope that we can get a few more weeks or months of upside, especially also in crypto. But if we see weakness of the market, if we see breakdown, retest, resumption downwards, then the chances of a bear market are way higher, and then we need to flip and need to see and react to these new circumstances. So basically, yeah, as I mentioned, let's see what happens. Let's see how it behaves out of the cycle low. I would at least wait for some strength out of here, because we still don't know if that's the low. It could still go lower, because we have the 2 possible cycles we talked about in the last videos. It could even still go lower into here. And actually, if you zoom out, the last all-time high here in March 24 is the blue line here, and here we have a liquidity zone. So, and also the 618 Fibonacci. So it could also go down here into the liquidity zone and hold at the support here. So that would be also not unusual and still okay. But if it goes down lower and if it breaks this low, then the chances are rising for a bear market. So before going into new positions, I would wait. I would be a bit more patient still, see how it reacts. We could still chop around a bit, and then if we see some strength up to the upside, also with the stock market, then we can look at maybe some trades. That's the most important thing. I think all altcoins are pretty much depending on what Bitcoin is doing, what the market is doing. We can have a little look shortly at maybe XRP. 1 second. So yeah, it depends on Bitcoin and the market, but as we see, we are going down right now and have a cycle low time frame coming up. So maybe a bit more downside. Maybe we sweep this low. Let me mark it. Maybe we go down here, grab some liquidity. Maybe we go down in this liquidity zone, which I talked about in the last videos, and then hopefully go up again. But it depends on Bitcoin and the stock market. So we have to be careful and patient and see what the next week or the next days of price action bring to us. Same is for curve DAO. We have the cycle low coming up, still underneath the resistance, so would not be surprising if Bitcoin dumps or the market to go even lower, and we really need to see some strength above this resistance line before we can say, yeah, we can think about some trading positions. Same also with the mining stocks. All depends on Bitcoin actually. Here CleanSpark is interesting because we had a gap here, and also gaps don't always need to fill, but most of them or quite a lot of them do, so it's interesting to mark them. And we had a gap from all the way here, beginning of 24, and I think today actually we perfectly backtested it and had a little bounce, and are also in the timing window for CleanSpark for a cycle low. So maybe that's the bottom. Let's see what happens, but we still need some confirmation and break at least daily candles above here together with Bitcoin. Is pretty risky to just jump into positions here. Alright, then let's have a quick look at GameStop. Also same story basically. Still chopping around, weak with the market. We have here the support, liquidity zone as we talked about. But still, yeah, we need to see some strength from the market. We need to see daily closes and breakouts above here before we can think about going into positions, because it can, if the markets don't hold, then we would also likely go down. In the end, quick look at precious metals, behaving as expected basically, moving down into the cycle low. Maybe we even go down, test 382, which is normal retracement, and then we see if we can get breakouts. Same story for silver. So quite a sharp pullback. So it's, as you can see, being aware of these cycles really is a cheat code in markets and trading, because you have way less stress and you know what's going on, or you have more idea what's going on. So as you can see, sharp move down here. We see if we can get some breakouts, and then I would be interested to also get into a silver position. So yeah, I think that's it for the video. Really interesting times. I think it's time to focus now. The last few weeks, as I told you, when we went sideways, was time to chill out, but now it really depends on what's going on with the market, with Bitcoin and the stock market. If we can find a low and then really have push up here, or if we find a low, chop around and then break down, then it's time to change the strategy and time to look for shorts. So yeah, let's see what happens, and I think I might be able to make a next video on Sunday for the weekly closes, or on Monday. Alright, then I wish you a good weekend and see you in the next video. Bye!